Vitez in central Bosnia, and a mother mourns at the grave of her 15-year-old son. Bruno Jelić and his friend Miran Šantić died while handling an unexploded mine. They now lie side by side in this Vitez cemetery, the latest victims to be killed by mines in Bosnia. Every year, hundreds of people are killed and thousands are injured by mines in the former Yugoslavia. But despite the high number of casualties, millions of mines still remain in the ground, killing people with alarming regularity. Bruno Jelic's father fears his son's death will not be the last.
U mene je dijete poginulo, znam, ali bit će njega još koji će poginuti. Jer to jednostavno dođe na liniju i ode linijom, kaže šta je, kad ja sam moram kopao rove, znam ja, kaže koji ti. Nemoj dijete oći, nemoj oći, ali daj Bože da se to više ne ponovi, jer u toga će biti još.
Mines have also inflicted heavy casualties on UNPROFOR personnel, killing 19 and injuring 166 in the last 3 years. Under the conditions of the ceasefire agreement, UNPROFOR is not supposed to lift mines itself unless they directly affect its operations. Its role is to supervise the warring parties while they disarm the mines they have planted. This arrangement has had some success, but progress is dependent on a military situation.
We started off after the ceasefire agreement being quite satisfied that the warring parties, particularly in Croatia, were carrying on with their demining operations and the providing of information which we required. In recent days, the tactical situation has degraded to the point where it's not in the interest of the warring parties to move along those lines any longer, and so we're in a state now where the same progress is not being made.
But in Vitez, the warring parties with UNPROFOR assistance do appear to be having some success at clearing the many thousands of mines that mark the former confrontation line. Both the HVO and BIH in this area have kept to the ceasefire agreement by providing maps of mined areas and actively removing or disarming the devices. Today, engineers from the British battalion are assisting the HVO in removing mines they had previously planted.
Mi uglavnom idemo na minska polja gdje su označena. A tamo gdje nije označeno, onda se ide pažljivo, gleda se, traži se, predire se, jednostavno razgliče se trava, to se ide polagano. Recimo da bi otkrio neku sakrivenu minu, a onako recimo u travi, onda se tu ide polagano. Znači miš treba po 2 sata, po 3 sata dok dođeš do nje, dok je nađeš ili je jednostavno ne nađeš.
In this instance, maps of the mine's locations are accurate and 3 devices are quickly located. An HVO engineer then places a small explosive charge next to the mine, which is detonated once everyone has vacated the area. There are believed to have been up to 40,000 mines planted in the Vitez area. Hundreds of different varieties have been used, with different designs, different materials, and each requiring different methods to defuse. Because a large number of these contain no metal, they are almost impossible to detect. As the British engineers demonstrate, when they have to clear mines, they too use the most basic detection techniques. First, the start of the area to be cleared is marked with tape. Then the engineer slowly works his way along the minefield, checking first by sight, then by hand, and then with a metal prong. A piece of wire is pushed along the ground and lifted to check for tripwires. It's a long, slow process requiring total concentration, but one that Captain Tony Coulthart, who's in charge of British bomb disposal in theatre, claims is the most practical.
In and around this area, high-tech equipment would be no good whatsoever. The mines we're dealing with, many of them are totally undetectable with modern equipment. So therefore we have to go back to first line type principles, and that's why we use the age-old technique of prodding forward. and it is the safest and most effective way of getting through a minefield.
But other means of detection are being considered. The Canadian Battalion in United Nations Protected Area, Sector South, are currently running trials with sniffer dogs in an attempt to detect mines with the minimum loss of human life. The dogs are used in conjunction with this armoured vehicle, which is equipped with sensitive explosives detectors. Air samples are taken which the dogs then smell to identify which section of the road may be mined.
Once the dog has indicated that a section of the road might be contaminated, another group of people would go onto that section of the road using different dogs. These free-running dogs, as we call them, are trained to specifically indicate areas where there might be mines. In other words, they would tend to pinpoint the spot within that section of road where the mine is likely to be. And they've been trained to approach to within about a metre, maybe a metre and a half from a mine, and then the dog will either sit or lie down, depending on how he's been trained.
As well as assisting the warring parties in the removal of mines, UNPROFOR also attempts to alert local people about their dangers. These mine awareness courses are especially important for children, who are the most likely to be killed or injured by mines. In 1 month alone in Vitez, 4 children were killed and 12 injured in mine-related incidents. For this reason, battalions such as the New Zealand Kiwi company have been running mine awareness courses at schools in Vitez.
Today, myself and my friends are here to talk to you about mines, explosives and bombs. The lessons we're going to cover today is firstly what mines and explosives look like, where you are likely to find mines, bombs and explosives, and finally what you should do if you come across a mine or an explosive or bomb. Next types of mines.
The course shows what the most commonly found mines look like, as well as how they appear when planted in the ground. Using a series of games, the soldiers stress the basic points of mine awareness and what to do if you come across something that looks like a mine. The simple rules are: stop, don't touch, go back the way you came, and report the mine to a soldier or policeman. It's a message that appears to be sinking in.
Vrati se putem kojim sam došla. Izjaviti policiji ili vojnicima. Išla sam u Babaša I vidjela sam na putu minu. I otišla sam, kući sam došla I rekla sam babi, gore ima nešto na putu okruglo. Baba je rekao, nemoj ići gore, vrati se. Hajde ved krave I vrati se. Ja sam se vratila I nisam ništa dirala.
Despite this apparent awareness, for some children, the simple message that mines, bombs and explosives kill was either not heeded or came too late. Miran Šantić, whose son Miran was killed by a mine, believes he knew about mines and their dangers, but still chose to handle one.
Ja tvrdim po godinama, 15 godina, I onak tvrdim, a trebali su znati, znali su. Da li je sad tu viša sila ili ta znatiželja vozi ili... Meni to nikad nije jasno. To je boli. Znali su, a idu to.
Experts say it could take 10 years to completely clear all mines in the former Yugoslavia once the war is over. But with a total cessation of hostilities still some way off, it's likely that mines will be costing lives for many years to come.